When we last met our heroes, you had been sacking Gatvis Cliff.
No, when we last left our heroes, I had won a duel with Volpini 2 sabers, broke her 2 sabers, and then was poisoned.
Yes.
And then I succeeded in surviving that poison.
Indeed.
And then negotiated a peace between the pirates and the wolves.
Yep. And then you left Gatface Cliff, and you had the funeral for the White Eye, and you went back to Vumbra. And as I recall it, you went to talk to Aro to get him and his Dogs of War to go with you on the caravel that you had taken, including the crew and the merchant, to Palamux. So, you are in Vumbra, and you are in Vumbra together with Aro. Aro is looking for his next employment opportunity. The merchant vessel, the caravel, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go. Because when you're alone, the merchant is very much less likely to transport you anywhere without considerable payment. Now, you do have payment, so you could make that. But the threat of physical force, I mean, you could intimidate him, I suppose. You know, I'm working for the Inquisition. I have big swords and a nasty, nasty growl.
It's like, you might outnumber me, but I'm only surrounded by fear and dead men. So.
Pretty much. So if you want to roll for an intimidation roll, you could do that. That would be stone plus your weapons, because they're strange and magical, so I'll give you extra for that. And of course your reputation as the emissary of the Inquisition. So yeah, you would have 6 dice at least. Against his water, I guess. I'm gonna put it to a 3, because given that he has an institution and everything.
Let's see. /R.
I have 2 successes.
6d6.
You have.
I also have 2 successes.
Yep, but you're the aggressor, so you win. So he will reluctantly. Yeah, you can tell me how this plays out.
Well, it all depends, because we kind of did it backwards. Because if Aro's coming with me to Palamux, because that's where the employment, like, it should be easy enough to convince him to come, because there's no employment left where he was.
That's true.
And there's still rebels and shit brewing on Palamux.
This is true. Yeah, no, I think he'll be fairly easily convinced to come with you. And with the entire mercenary unit coming, then in that case the merchant is going to be well paid. And then he will just, accept you all as passengers. I mean, he's not happy that you pretty much pirated his ship from Gatface Cliff to begin with. But on the other hand, now he's getting well paid, and if this means that it's the last he'll ever see of you and all the other Wolven for the rest of his days, I think he'll live with that.
Yeah. And that's the important part. He'll live with that.
Yes, indeed.
Dark side points gained.
Yep, if this was Star Wars. For sure. So, Vumbra is on the southeast tip there of Trismira. And you're going to Palamux. The question is, of course, where on Palamux? And you probably will need to study the maps together with the captain and Aro, possibly. I'm not so sure. You want to go to Bektar, because that's what the message that the bird came with said. Bektar lies. This is going to be hard to see on this map. But on the western side of Palamux, if you...
Oh, good. That's really far away.
That's really far away. You will see... If you look in the southwest, there's Lasamos, and then there's Klaga, which is a big area of forest, really. So along the Kargam Wall, which is that circle of mountains that surrounds the Fokal Plains, on the western side of that, or really southwest, is Bektar, which is very close to a place called King's Cliff. And so that's where it is. And a simple library roll, given that you're with the Inquisition, you can roll for wind if you like. I'll give you an extra die because you have access to the library of the Inquisition.
6. 2 6.
Ooh, wow. That means that you will know that Bektar is the center for moon cultists.
Okay.
And the moon cultists, you might recall who they are?
I do not.
They are the people who are anti-creationists. They are the people who are doing the tattoo magic, the Kargamishan tattoo magic.
Okay.
Much like the Damagi that you have traveled with before. And they are also known for doing all sorts of interesting rituals to the moon goddess Lovina, including human sacrifice.
Okay.
So,
do you mean sentient sacrifice or specifically human sacrifice?
Predominantly human, apparently, because most of their followers are human.
Okay.
But you will also know with that library roll, I can give you basically 3 key pieces of information. So first, it's a center for moon cultists. Now you know the moon cultists. Second, it's very close to Klaga, the region, well, the forested region, which is just next door, which is a region known to be inhabited by all sorts of black bloods. Orcs, goblins, ogres, trolls, you name it. It's there.
I'm used to killing those.
Yep. The third important piece of information that you will find in your library sojourn is that just off the west coast there, you will find that little row of islands. You can't see the name on this map picture because it's too poorly rendered.
Yeah, it's very, very small.
Yeah. Those 3-ish islands are called the Ferrofogs.
Okay.
And they have a very particular quality. They are powerfully magnetic. Which means that any ship that comes close to it carrying any type of metal will sink. The islands will pull out nails and bolts and anything metal that the ship is built from.
Yeah.
And then the ship will simply disintegrate and sink to the bottom. So the only way to get to the western side of Palamux by ship is to take a completely wooden ship.
Or at least a ship that has non-magnetic metals, which aren't really common in this day and age.
Exactly. I don't know of many people who make ships in bronze.
Or aluminum.
Aluminum is probably an unknown metal in these parts.
I wouldn't say unknown, but it's definitely not... Because, like, unless you mix it with something, it's not a strong metal.
Yeah. Well, at this stage, I don't know how many people have used aluminum for much of anything in this world. So, iron or high iron content metal, including steel, is a big no-no in that area. And that leaves Rowri with the question of how are you going to get to that area? You can sail from Vumbra, and the east coast of Palamux has a bunch of ports, as you know. You've been to Fontrasilor, which is pretty much smack dab in the middle between the ocean and the Fokal Plains.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that you can't get up the Kargam Wall that way. It's impossible to scale. It's a sheer cliff about at least 500 meters tall or a kilometer even, so you're not going to get up there. So you could try to sail from the north, given that you're coming from Trinsmira, and down the west side. But those waters are infested by pirates. So that's another problem. You could sail to the south. Fewer pirates there. You'd have to go through Marduk's running course, which is between Palamux and Safina. Very turbulent waters. So yes, you'll have to decide how to get there. The closest port, civilized port, is Maravelda in Lasemos, which is on South Palamux. It's the big sort of black blob on the southwest part there.
There's that big island in the inlet, and
yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll go to that one. Because even if there's pirates along the southern route, I very much pity the pirate that tries to board this ship.
Fair enough. Aro would not be keen on going the northern route through the pirate-infested Cargo Mission waters.
That means he has to fight for free.
Exactly. And he has absolutely no reason to want to fight pirates or Cargo Missions when he's going to join up with whatever fight is probably brewing. There are basically two areas he's interested in. It's Eastern Palamux with the Kishat and Fontrasilor. If someone is going to declare independence, that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or Lasemos, which is the region for which Maravelda is the capital. Because there's a whole bunch of barons and counts that are always fighting each other.
Yeah.
So he would be happy with the southern route because it's going to bring him either to Eastern Palamux or to Lasemos. So that's what he wants to do.
Perfect. Then that's what we do.
Then you will be taking the ship and you will cross the Great Ocean, and the first stop will be, I'm looking at my own map here, Albarunzia, which is the capital of the Kishat on the eastern tip of Palamux.
Okay.
Alright, so let's have a look at how far you have to travel to get to Albarunzia. You will be crossing the ocean straight away. From Vumbra to Siola is 3 days, so it's about 3 days to get to Albarunzia, I would say. You will be passing by Mix on the way, and we'll have to see what kind of weather you're going to have. Isn't that always the most fun part?
It is. 3d6.
No, wait.
Oh, I didn't do the 6. Okay. What?
Wait. We have to wait. You're reprovisioning and everything. You're leaving on the 30th of Fateska. And first of all, we want to see a D100 for...
Okay. 1D100.
Where the wind is coming from.
34.
And 34 is... It is coming from pretty much due south, which is probably the worst possible wind direction you could have on your journey.
I mean, slightly southwest would be worse, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
Well, the first leg, I'd have to say you're actually going southwest, so it's not the worst possible wind direction you can have. It's just kind of crappy. Because you have to go southwest for a while before you can cross the bigger ocean, right? But this way you can stay to the coastal waters quite a bit. Only you don't want to get too close to Stegos, obviously. So you stay away from those coastal. So you roll the first list from the south, and what was the rest of the weather?
3d6. 6, 3, 1 in that order.
6, 3, 1 in that order. And we are now talking about... We're still in the last days of Fateska, so we have warm weather, plus 6 or 7 degrees. We have 3. You have wind, good strong wind, and you also have absolutely pouring rain. You're all getting drenched that day as you leave Umbra. Which means that you get slightly shorter than you could have, but not drastically so. Let's have a look again. You should be reaching, well, halfway along the south edge of Transmira by that day, I would say.
Okay.
And now you're going to have to turn pretty much due south to follow the rest of the course and so on. So let's see what we get for wind direction now.
1d100. 8.
8. Okay, and now let's see. What are we still on? Yeah, we are on the final day of Fateska.
All the sailing, I think I'm actually starting to get a feel for it.
Yeah, you've been on a boat quite a bit.
It's like maybe Rowri doesn't hate sailing as much anymore.
The wind has shifted now, and it's coming in from the northeast.
That's
Northeast.
exactly the direction we want it to be coming from.
Yes, it is indeed. That's the perfect direction for you. And let's see if it's strong, good and strong as well. This is the 3d6 again.
Yeah, 216.
216. So now we are getting heavy wind, but not a storm. Oh, sorry, 216. Yeah, that's still a heavy wind. It's going to be much colder. It's sub-zero now on this day. It's a heavy wind and very clear skies. So it's a beautiful day for sailing.
Nice.
And you have the perfect wind. So I am going to say that by the night of this leg of the journey, you should be reaching Mixa.
Good.
Which is a small island in the middle of everything. In the middle of the Drakarian Sea. You will notice this by the heavy scent of fish. I think everyone notices that by the heavy scent of fish.
Me and Aro and the Dogs of War noticed it a lot earlier, but we also don't mind as much.
Probably not. And let's have a look here. There is one major city on Mixa, and that is Navumbra. A fishing hamlet for the most part. It's sort of the capital of this island. You haven't been by here very much at all.
No.
At all times you've kind of gone past it other ways. As you're getting closer to this island, you will see that it's very mountainous. It doesn't really have beaches as such. It's rather very high cliffs that surrounds it.
Okay. Like Iceland.
Yeah. And you're getting closer to the island, and as you are, there is a small coastal sailor getting closer. It's like a sloop, or a small, very small sloop, I should say.
Yeah.
Single sail, single mast, but considerably faster than your caravel.
Nice cutter.
Yeah. And as it's getting closer, you will see that it's hoisting a banner of some kind.
Yeah.
And the ship's captain and the lookout is screaming at the top of his lungs because he's from the top of the mast. Gada Gormgald! And as he does, the ship's captain gets absolutely white in the face. And you can hear a lot of muttering and mumbling among both the crew and the Wolven.
Yeah.
If Aro was not on deck before, he will come up to deck now. The captain...
It's like, I sense like the general mood of the crew, and I'm just like, I don't know what that means, but it's not good, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw my sword.
Yeah, you can by now you can definitely see the town, because it's not a city, in the background easily, and it's getting darker, so lights are lit along that hamlet and along the shoreline. And the coastal sailor is getting closer to you fast. The captain is looking at you. Aro is very quiet and determined. But he's quietly ordering everybody to be battle ready. Which is not a popular order at this point. You can hear some...
Instead of sword, I'm going to draw my bow.
You can hear some people saying, did you hear about how Gada Gormgald killed Edvil Hustler with a trebuchet? And then you hear someone else say, oh, but that's nothing. Did you hear about how he practiced with the trebuchet when they were laying siege to that city? They used children for ammo because they didn't have rocks.
Huh. Well, guess we're gonna have to kill him.
Someone...
All this talk of trebuchets. I don't see a trebuchet on that tiny boat.
The captain is looking. What, you want to cross Gada Gormgald?
If we don't have to, then let's try and get away. But if they try to take us, we're going to kill them.
If we kill them, we're dead men walking.
We're sailing.
You know what I mean.
How's he gonna know who we are? That involves leaving witnesses.
Aro is actually laughing at that. The ship will hail you. It pulls up in parallel, and it's hailing you. Gada Gormgald wants his taxes. Stand by to get boarded.
I look at the captain.
I suppose we'll have to get boarded then. I heard that Gada Gormgald had taken over the island. And he's starting to give the order to pull in sails and stand by to get boarded. Unless you give him other orders.
I look at Aro.
No, let's just pay and get it over with, says Aro.
Alright. Everyone seems to be more in line with paying for it than fighting them off, so I will acquiesce.
To that request, as it were.
Yeah.
So it takes a little while, of course, for the sloop to get to rendezvous with your ship. And they will throw out their hooks and put up a board so you can cross from ship to ship.
Yeah.
And their sloop it's a decent contingent of troops like that. But I mean, what could it be?
We definitely outnumber them.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that you outnumber them. Absolutely no doubt. And I think when the soldiers of Garagormgald come aboard, you will see, by the way, the banner very clearly now, which is very, very vulgar. I'm not going to give it any more description than that for now.
Yeah.
Because I have little ears listening.
Yeah.
This crew is a strange mix of ruffians and town guards, where the ruffians are clearly in charge and outnumbered by the town guards. The town guards are probably not terribly good fighters because they're used to just, guard the coast from smugglers and extracting taxes from people who pass by.
Yeah.
The ruffians probably have a very long life of very sordid crime behind them, by the looks of their 1,000-yard stares and the scars in their faces and just how they move. They could just as well have been serving life terms in hard labor camps at this stage. If they had been slaves. Yes, if they had been caught. Instead, they became mercenaries working for Garagormgald, the worst mercenary of them all.
Yeah.
Their captain, as in not the captain of the ship, but the captain of the troop, is coming over that little walkway, together with some person who is definitely not a fighter. Looks more like a scrawny, scholarly type, with a bald, shaven head, beady little eyes darting back and forth at everyone.
It reminds me of Peaky Blinders, when Billy Kimber came around the garrison. Because there's Billy Kimber, the gangsta boss, and then he brought his little accountant.
Yes. Yeah, that's not
who
not
also
too
plays
off.
King Alfred the Great in Last Kingdom.
That's where I've seen him before, right?
I know, it took me a bit.
Yep, so these people are coming over. The person with the beadier, the bald King Alfred version, the person with the beady eyes who's looking about, he's dressed more in robes, really, than anything fighting style. And he is reading from a scroll. It's more like it's a scroll that he puts up, and he says, "By order of Garagormgald, we order this ship to pay taxes at the price of 2 coppers per person sailing through these seas." And then he looks at the strong, and also he wants to add, a certain tax depending on what cargo you're taking. But since the cargo is mercenaries, yeah. So that's going to be a good, fair bit of money that Aro will have to pay and the merchant will have to pay. But you're not part of either of those groups.
Well, I'll help Aro pay. 2 coppers per person. I'm the one who's bringing Aro this way, so I'll cover Aro and the mercenaries.
And as you're doing this...
Actually, you know what? I'll also cover, because I kind of feel bad about forcing the ship captain to take us this way. I'll pay for the crew, too.
Whoa. As you're doing this, because that's going to cost you...
Probably no more than 1 die worth of treasure.
No, not more than
2
that.
coppers per person for less than 100 people.
Yeah, that's about 10 silver decorii altogether.
Yeah, that's not even a dice worth of treasure.
No, it's not. But he's going over things there, and then he stops for a moment, this beady-eyed fellow.
Yeah.
And he starts to raise his hands a bit and do an invocation. You've seen Tindri do the similar thing. He's clearly using magic.
Yeah.
And then he looks around, and he looks at Sturmendrang. Like, straight at Sturmendrang.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and he points to it.
It's like, I notice you're also looking directly at my badge of the Inquisition.
He actually laughs at this. Mm.
So no, I will not be parting with this.
This is not a request, he says. He's very much used to getting his way. Everybody's looking at you now. And of course, Sturmendrang is more worth than 10 silver Drakari. I mean, just the monetary value for the stones in the hilt is crazy.
He can't have my sword. So, in terms of options...
Yeah, the crew at this point are scared beepless. They are... You can see how they're shaking. They're white. They're white as sheets. They're sweating. Cold sweat.
Just like I grab one dice worth of, like, in a bag. Because I figure each dice worth of lump sum is probably, like, its own little chest or bag. Like, you wouldn't have five dice in one thing. So I grab one bag full of treasure and say, how about you forget about this sword and this is yours?
His personally? Yeah. That might work. Except you have almost no water. This is a water contest roll.
Okay.
He does not recognize the significance of your Inquisitor's badge, and he doesn't know who you are, so at this point you can't add the 3 reputation.
Okay.
Which gives you, well, either you can intimidate him. I'm seeing here that I actually haven't healed your damages yet, so I'm going to do that. You can intimidate him with your 1 die of water. Sorry, with your 2 dice of stone, adding your sword, I guess. Or you can try to persuade him. I'll give you an extra die for throwing in the treasure there. So that would be 4 dice if you want to intimidate him. He's not going to be easily scared, though, because he's used to getting what he wants. So I'm going to roll 3d6 for his water and add 2 dice for being Garagormgal's emissary.
Yeah. And I got 46 for... I'm a big scary wolf man. Yep. So I have my stone plus my weapon.
Yep.
Because he knows I have a magic blade.
Yep.
And
your treasure, because it's a nice encouragement.
Because he might just bribing him specifically.
Yep. That is... How are you always outrolling me? No, wait, you have 3 successes. I have 4 successes.
You have 4 successes.
Yes.
I got 2 successes.
That means that you take 1 point... You take 2 points of doubt. Which means that he wins. Because I got a 6, right? So that's 1 point of doubt plus another for the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that he breaks you as far as doubt goes. How do we explain that? In terms of the interaction.
Well... Fuck, I don't know.
I mean, this is like one of those cool scenes in the Peaky Blinders when Tommy just switches the entire power dynamic somehow by just saying all the cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be something like he's looking at you, he's looking at your blade, he's looking at your bribe, and he's saying, do you really think that I can let myself be bribed this easily? There are many eyes on me, not just yours. If I take this money, me and my family and anyone I call friend will pretty soon find ourselves flayed and displayed to the mockery of the common people in the market square. When I might just much easier inflict this destiny on anyone who opposes Galagormgald. He refuses this.
It's like, you want it? Fine.
You can, instead of getting broken, by the way, because you don't want to be broken, right?
No.
You can take a consequence. How about we take a consequence for you?
I'm definitely taking a consequence, and I'm also getting a fate die. Guess why I'm getting a fate die, Miguel?
Are you pulling your sword and killing the shit out of him?
Yeah, because pride.
Nah. You'd never. There you go, now you have 3.
I have 4.
4? Okay. You have 4. Let's see now, where are we? You have been...
That seems like a pretty good consequence. I've pissed off Galagormgald.
Yes. So, you can take a consequence. You can either promise this person to help that person, or a bad reputation will spread about you because of this conflict, and you will be disliked by public or someone. Or you will have serious doubts about yourself and so on, which means that your value for water would count as 1 in all deed rolls under the rest of this session or the next one. Or you go through a life crisis and you have to abandon your destiny. Or you get convicted to death for some kind of crime, regardless of if you're guilty or not. The only way to save yourself is to flee directly and never show yourself in the area again. I feel this one is pretty good.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Especially since I figure the wolves will probably join me. I don't know about the crew. They'll probably join out of strict self-preservation. Because now we got to kill everyone on this boat, so there's no witnesses as far as we can tell.
Exactly. So the consequence will be that Galagormgald is after you, basically.
Yeah.
At least on this island. Which means that you're not broken. You do have 1 point of doubt because of all the tales of Galagormgald's viciousness. This is like no enemy you've encountered before. I mean, Shagul was scary and creepy in his own way, but you killed him, and then he came back, and he's weird, I guess. Those archmages are just elusive and frustrating, not scary.
Pretty much.
The Shagulites you just hate because of what they're doing towards creation and so on. This guy... So yes, there we are. You were going to fight them, aren't you?
Yeah. I open with a surprise volley at the accountant.
Yes.
I want to cut the head from his shoulders.
That shouldn't be too hard. He's probably not going to see that coming. You want my sword? Here, take it. Splat.
Yeah. So that will be fire. Plus...
Yep.
I'll be using my 2 weapons.
Yep.
And... Does a powerful sword only come into play when it's against the thing it's good for? When it's activated?
Sturmendrang always gives you at least 1 die as a bonus because it's magical. If you fight the undead, it gives you 2.
Right.
So you have 3 for fire, plus 1 for 2 weapons, which is 4. Plus 1 because you are actually having a sword and he doesn't. So that's 5. Plus 1 for Sturmendrang, so that's 6.
Yeah.
Yep. That's... and possibly fate dice to that if you want to, but I have a feeling you'll be using them later on this scene.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, when do I spend the fate die for my swordplay abilities?
Only when you want to use the skill levels, so to speak.
Okay. I thought you had to do it to spend it to activate the expertises.
Some expertises, yes, but not all of them.
Okay.
And it will say, I mean, for magic you always have to spend a fate die because they're so potent. And for maim, when you want to activate that one, I think you have to. I can.
So if I want to just like in one swing take his head off his shoulders.
No, that's a stunt.
Okay.
That's like roll a 6.
Yeah.
If you want to take his head off his shoulders through Berserk, that's after you succeed with an attack in close combat that does 1 or more in damage. You can spend a fate die. If you roll it, you can choose a maimer. It succeeds. Right. But you might not need to because, you know, you have 6 dice to begin with. So at this stage... Well, that was not the best roll you've ever made.
Yeah, but I cut down the Undead King, so I'm going to cross that off.
That's true.
And re-roll that. How's that worse?
That's terrible. Well, it doesn't matter because, I mean, you know, he's... Okay, I'm going to roll his... What can he have? He's a scrawny accountant. He's going to have a die. Right?
Yeah.
And he's unprepared for the attack, so, you know... you're the attacker, you win. Because he's unprepared for the attack. So you're still going to do damage, and the sword does naturally 2 points, I believe.
Let's see, I have it written down here. No, it does 1.
Right.
It does 2 against undead.
Right, okay, it does 1. But that's going to be enough to make him think... In short, you don't actually cut off his head. It's the worst sword strike you've ever done.
I feel like I could do better if I cross off another thing.
Okay, sure. That means also leveling up.
Yep. This is the last one I can cross off. So
yes, it is. That means that you're going to level up.
I have to try again.
Yes, try again.
6. I mean, it's better than the previous 2 rolls. I was hoping for 6s though.
I know. That's... Well, at least now
stunts.
At least now you have gotten rid of all your bad die rolls for the night. You have caused at least 1 point of damage, so you could use your Berserker to maim him. 1 fate die. Otherwise he's just wounded. Really, really wounded, because he only has the 1 stone. But wounded.
He only has the 1 stones, and this would be 3 damage. Because of 3 successes.
No, it's...
Or does that...
No, you need the 6s to add the damage.
Oh, right.
So it's 1 point of damage, and yeah, he's gonna stagger back. You're not gonna chop off his head, but you probably slashed him across the chest really badly, so he's staggering back and clutching the wound and looking at horror at his own blood.
I'm going to use a fate die on maim.
Okay.
and
He's a 3.
He's shorter than I anticipated because I did the whole I turned my back to him to grab this, and then I lashed out over my shoulder, and I was expecting his neck to be a little bit higher, but he had looked down a little bit,
right?
And so instead of cutting across his neck and cutting his head off in a single strike, I went right across his eyes and blinded him.
Ow. Okay. Did you roll the d6 for that? For the maiming? You only needed 4 for this one.
6.
Boom! That's the 6. Yep. He's blind. And now the rest of the crew is panicking, and Gatagormgal soldiers, all, I don't know, 6 of them who are on board, because mostly they've been searching through and gathering money, will pull out their swords. Aro, I don't think he's sure what he wants to do. The captain is paralyzed by fear. So, yeah, no, he's just... I think he's just sort of quivering jelly of fear. So, let's have a look here. Because we probably want to see more closely what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move you to that map. Yeah, there's gonna be 2 in your immediate vicinity. Aro is next to you as well. Anyway, I put someone below deck. There's gonna be a couple of them close to you, and so on. It's gonna take a while for the rest of them. So you only have 2 that you need to face as such. The Wolven will follow the lead of Aro. And Aro is unsure of what to do right now. Because, I mean, there was one thing following you into battle to restore the honor of the entire Wolven people. This is slightly different.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically what I'm banking on is that the pirates are not going to differentiate between me and them.
That is very, very probable, I would say.
Because I feel like the pirates are going to go, well, they're all in the same crew together, and start attacking everybody. And then I'm going to have some artificial backup because they're going to defend themselves.
Yep. Yeah, anyway, you are going to move first because these guys are not quite as fast as you are, I don't think.
No, probably not. The other Wolven might be.
Yeah, they're fast enough.
They would have 3 fire too.
Yeah, they have fire 3.
When it comes to leveling up, what is that?
That means that you write down a new experience, and you choose another skill level of something.
Yeah, I wanted to get leadership.
Ooh, so commander then.
Yeah. What are the expertises in commander?
There are no expertises as such. It's rather how many people you can command. On level 1, it's a squad, so 8 people. One group of people living in the same tent.
Cool.
And when you're level 5, you can command an army of 5,000.
Nice.
And of course, when you get that, I'm going to say that when you get to shore or something, if you sacrifice a fate die, you will find people that you can recruit that will follow you.
Cool.
So you'll have a troop.
So, my new experience, if you're interested,
Yep.
is led an army of Wolven and sacking a wizard castle.
Oh, yes, that's good. That's very appropriate.
Like, I figure the experience that you add should be appropriate to the ability you are getting.
Yeah, that makes sense. That means that we can uncheck the boxes for all the previous experiences.
Yeah.
And we add Commander level 1. Very neat. Okay. These guys have Stone 3, Fire 2. There you go. And they're gonna have Swordsmanship 1, probably. 1 or 2. So that means I need to think about my fate dice. I don't only have 3 this time though, because, you're alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go. You're first. You have those 2 soldiers there. They do have armor.
They do have armor?
Yes.
And it's heavy armor?
I'm gonna roll. If it's low, it's gonna be heavy, light armor. If it's high, it's heavy armor. So it's light armor.
Okay.
I guess they don't want to. They are in a ship, so if they fall over, they don't want to sink like a rock. I think they're more concerned about that than getting hurt by anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll a die.
Perfect. So, I am going to...
If you do enough damage here, you are allowed to split it between both of them. Just so you know.
Okay.
And since we've leveled you up, you can start crossing off experiences again.
Yeah. That would be 3 plus powerful sword plus 2 weapons.
Yep. By now they do have their swords out, so you don't get an extra for having swords. So that's 5 dice plus 2 possible fate dice if you want to put them in. For swordsmanship.
Not yet.
Not yet?
I'll wait for things to go a little hairy before I start burning my fate.
Whoa! Shit. Well, the guy in front of you, they're gonna obviously collaborate. So I'm gonna add 1 die for that. No, 1 success for that, isn't it? No, I'm adding 1 die automatically to the pool. So roll. He has 3 stone. He doesn't... Yeah, 3 stone. And that's about it. I can add a fate die for his swordsmanship, so that's 4d6, 5d6 for being 2 of them. You won!
Yeah.
I rolled 1 success on 5d6. Crap.
And I rolled 4.
Yep.
2 of them are 6s.
Yep, so that's 3 points of damage. Which means that... Oh, and you're using both swords.
Yeah, that'd be 4 points of damage, because 1 damage for each sword. Right?
Not sure it works like that. No, you do damage with 1 of the swords.
Okay. Well...
And Nabakos won't give you a bonus there because they don't have heavy armor. So that's 3 points of damage, which is still, enough to seriously injure one of them, or injure both of them a bit.
Here's how I'm going to narrate this.
I should have added
I'm actually going to do 2 damage to the guy who's right next to me.
I'm just adding a die for your doubt to them, which doesn't matter at all because you still win, but as a matter of point,
I didn't take the doubt.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I got the 1 down.
Yep.
I didn't get broken from that.
Exactly. So anyway, you hurt.
I do 2 damage to the guy right next to me.
Yep.
And then I'm going to use my other 6 to lash out with Nabakos and swipe the other one's sword off.
Ooh, that's beautiful. He's looking at horror. Yes, tell us.
So they draw their blades and they're advancing on me.
Yep.
And I knock the close ones, like I flat blade his sword away, sklitch him right through the gut with Sturmendrang.
Yep.
And, well, my blade's inside him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, the other guy's coming to take a lunge at me. That would be that extra die you rolled.
Yep.
And I kind of spin us around so that it, like, to the left, so that my back's to the guy who's about to attack me. But I do this sort of lash out with Nabokos, because Nabokos is in my left hand. And he's taking his lunge with his sword, lash out with Nabokos, cut his sword off. Nabokos just slides right through his blade like butter, and now he's swinging air. He's swinging a handle, and he thinks he got me, and then he notices no damage has been done to me, and he looks confused, and he looks down at his hand, and all he has is a handle, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, pretty much.
And then I pull Sturmendrang out. Well, like, I put my foot against this guy, pull Sturmendrang out, and now I'm standing with my two swords again.
Yep. And they're hurt and swordless.
So if we wanted to fix the map so that it goes along with the narration, me and the guy closest to me switch spots.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is still a point of confusion, I think, for Aro. And everyone else. The rest of Galagormgal's soldiers are giving out a shout and something along the lines of "Get him!" The Wolven around have not pulled out their swords.
I feel like they would have pulled out their swords just in case they got attacked.
Well, yeah, they are having their hands on their hilts, on the hilts of their swords and axes.
Okay, that's a good compromise.
And everything else, because things got tense. They haven't gotten the command to attack from Aro just yet, and you have acted faster than he would have been able to make that command. Yeah. So it's all really up to Aro whether he should support you or not.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let him make his choice. I feel like I can handle these guys.
I think he's just kind of rolling his eyes at you at this point. Like, what the hell are you doing? At the same time, he doesn't like the idea of Galagormgal trying to steal your sword.
Yeah.
So, he's conflicted.
That's fine. We'll have a talk about it after.
Yep. Meanwhile, those two...
I'm absolutely not calling out to him for help, because this is my pride I'm fighting for.
Yep. The others are going to move up closer to you. They're not in fight with you just yet.
Yeah.
But they're definitely moving at you. So that means that these guys are the attackers this round, and they're going to move the fuck away. Because one of them don't have a sword, and the other is really hurt, and he's not suicidal. Yeah. So this time you have two others attacking you.
Okay.
And that means that I will be rolling the 66 then. Because there's two of them, and you have some doubt, and so on, right?
Correct. I'm going to use a fate die this time.
Yep, sounds reasonable. I have 3 successes. No 6.
6.
You
I have 3 successes, one of them's a 6.
Yep. So does that mean that you win because you have a crit? That's how we played it before, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
as a tiebreaker. Yes, it's a tiebreaker. Okay, that means that you win, and you do 2 points of damage, which isn't as much as you did last time. but it's enough to hurt one of them. Or both of them a little bit. Though if you hurt both of them a little bit, they soak it by armor, so...
Yeah. Well, what I think I'm actually gonna do is, the first guy lunges at me with his blade, and I cut off his sword again.
Yeah, that's your stunt.
And then...
Jump! Ah!
I just deke out of the way of the other lunge, and just kind of bring the... Like, he comes from behind me with, like, a straight stab. I just sidestep it, and as he's passing by me, I bring down the hilt of my blade onto his helmet.
Gong!
Like, just bong, and it doesn't hurt him, but it just disorients him, and he goes forward.
Yeah, so it's more like this after you're done.
Yeah.
You will have... I mean, there's more soldiers on the sloop. And they're kind of getting aware of the situation and arming themselves. And at this point...
There are two soldiers without swords.
There are 2 soldiers without swords. And at this point, I think I'm gonna have to roll for the wounded taxman, because he's still a person. No, he's gonna make the stupid call, because he's a commander and he has to make an example. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs, "Kill them all!"
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm real happy.
And that makes Aro take a side.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
I just kind of look at the wounded taxman and I'm like, that's the stupid... Like, I'll say this. I'll say this out loud. I'm like, that is the stupidest thing you could have said. And then I look at Aro and I'm just like, sorry.
Aro will just snarl intimidating at the taxman and the guards. And basically tell them to get the fuck off the boat. With the backup of some 80 Wolven heavy infantry soldiers who have all instantly taken out their swords. And the soldiers are not suicidal. The taxman isn't suicidal either. So at this point...
So he needs to be let off the boat.
He needs to be let off the boat. They're all getting let off the boat. Some of them wounded. Well, only one of them really wounded. But you will hear the taxman sort of snarl about how you're going to live to regret this, and so on and so forth. Which, of course, you feel that you probably will have to.
Maybe.
The captain is...
regret it.
No, of course not. The captain is screaming about, "Are you mad at you? You've killed us all. You should have just given him the sword. It's got a Gormgal we're talking about."
And I look at him and I'm like, I'm not going to give him my sword that I plucked from the hands of the undead king that I've killed. My magic sword does not belong to Gata Gormgal.
The captain is paler than he was before, but he makes sure to really quickly order his crew to set all sails and get out of here.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be anywhere close to any Gata Gormgal waters that he can possibly imagine.
And that's totally fair.
Pretty much, isn't it? So we are going to continue the trip.
Hooray!
Hooray! You're still alive, somehow.
It's like, I don't regret my actions, but I do after the blood haze clears, regret my involving Aro and even the captain in my folly.
Well, because technically...
That would be that point of doubt I have. I'm just like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, you can spend yourself a scene to, think about how you can heal that somehow.
I will do that, and how I'm going to heal that is, since the accountant didn't take the bribe, I'm going to split that evenly amongst all the people I've loaned.
Oh, I like that. That seems reasonable.
Yeah. It's like I go to the captain, and, like, I give him... Because, like, how big is his crew? It's not that big.
It's about a dozen.
Yeah. So, splitting my one lump sum evenly amongst everybody with a bonus for the captain and a bonus for Aro.
Yeah. That... He mutters considerably less after that, I can tell you that.
It's like, I'm sorry for involving you all in that. I could not give up my blade, but him involving you in what should have been me fighting everybody was, I should have foreseen that, and I didn't, and I apologize.
He's very, very appreciative of that. So I will remove 1 point of doubt. As you can see, I have created the map here on its own sort of map. So we can track where we are. We can track where we are.
Zoom in a bit.
Yes. And I can track... So this is where it happened.
Okay.
And...
That's actually good, because I don't plan on ever going there again.
I bet. And this is Albarunzia, which is the White City. And we can, in fact, roll weather for another journey, another day of journey.
Do I gotta roll wind first?
Yes.
1d100. Wind direction is 30. If I remember correctly, the 30s are not a good direction.
Let's see now. We are now in the summer half of the year, which impacts the wind direction. 30 is actually really good because we're now in the summer part of the year. The first day is Gamsi. 30, you say. That is northeasterly winds. Perfect.
That's actually perfect!
Yes, it is.
Nice. Let's see how heavy those winds are. 3d6. 5, 2, 3 in that order.
5, 2, 3, and we are in Type 2 territory now. 5, 2, 3, you say?
I say indeed.
5, that means that for the first time since winter started, you can, or since you left Fontasilor, I should say, you can enjoy temperatures in the double digit plus.
Nice.
Very nice. 5, 2, 3, you said?
Mm-hmm.
2 means heavy wind and partially cloudy. So perfect sailing weather, really. Now, at this stage of the journey, when you wake up, in the morning, you will have probably passed by Stegos. He's going to keep well away from Stegos, so he's going either straight south or straight west. Stegos is that island between Mixa and Albarunzia, and it's the island that's eternally dark, right? So he's going straight west or straight south. He's not going anywhere close to that place.
Yeah, no, it's like avoiding the doom of Valyria.
Yep. But by the end of that sailing day, you will be getting to Albarunzia.
Nice.
Which is the White City. And here is the question of whether Aro will leave your company here and talk to the Kishat or go to Fontasilor and talk to people there, or whether he will come with you further. I'll show you on the map in a red circle here Maravelda, which is over there.
Yeah.
And Bektar in a green circle would be somewhere around here. So you have to decide. Well, the path we talked about was going south, right? So Albarunzia and then south towards Maravelda, where you have to change ships because you can't use this ship to go to Bektar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, I could walk, couldn't I?
You could, but walking from Maravelda, is it the red circle we're talking about now?
Yes.
That's going to take at least a week, possibly two, because of the terrible terrain. First you have mountains. First you have to go upriver. And then there's mountains, and then there's terrible forest filled with blackbloods, and then you get to the next mountains. So the terrain
sounds like fun.
Oh, you'll get lots of experience checkoffs.
Yeah.
But it's definitely faster with a boat, with a ship. But yes, we have to think about whether Aro is going to leave you here or go with you to Lasamos. What do you think he would be interested in? I think he's either going to go to Fontasilor, which is northwest, or to Lasamos. I don't think he's going anywhere else. The tricky bit here also is that, according to the rumors, and you will know this as you're sailing into Albarunzia, Gadagormgald is very powerful in both Zidisbar and Lasamos, and I'll mark those out as well. What color haven't I used?
Purple.
Purple. Okay, so this is Zidisbar. Okay, I wasn't gonna do it square, I don't know why. And then here is Lasamos. So that would be going into Gadagormgaldian territory. Ish. He's present, at least.
Yeah.
But I think we can deal with that next session, probably.
Yeah.
So we can discuss a bit what Aro thinks about things and take it from there, because we have things to digest now.
Are there any Inquisition offices on this island?
I don't think there is. So let me have a look. I don't think the Inquisition has established a foothold here. Possibly in Moscoria. I have to recheck.
Because I was thinking because of the Kishat.
Yes. Well, the Kishat is allied with the Inquisition.
Yeah.
They're just exceptionally hardliners. To the point of being ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's why I figured there'd at least be, like, if not a chapter house, then at least a, like an outpost.
Let's see
like an
now.
embassy, almost.
There used to be, I think. There we go. But there isn't anymore. So, nope.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there is nothing of that sort around here.
Well, my temporary goal, I forgot to change it for this session, is to get to Green Circle, right?
Yes. You have worked towards that.
What is that place called again?
Bektar.
Bektar. Get to Bektar.
You have worked towards it. Alright, that was fun and interesting. I have a report to make to a shadow player.